On the field, the not Sacramento A's are shambles and a half, the second worst home record in all of baseball, 1-20 in their last 21 fixtures. Off the field, you likely know about their own goals there as well, not letting kids run all the way around the bases at Sutter Health Park, an ass media setup, managers not being able to see the field. All laughably terrible. The thing is, though, you don't even know the half of it. What's unfolding with the not Sacramento A's is far worse than you even realize. I actually thought about ringing up call 3 to help me solve this problem, but I believe they have bigger fish to fry.
Lindsay Paulo explains how the call 3 problem solvers helped him right the ship.
He's not Johnny Depp.
Someone should call Curtis and ask him why he stole KCRA 3's segment in 2006, despite the fact they'd been doing it for like 30 years at that point. But hey, if you can't beat them, join them. Kurt, Sacramento newsroom shenanigans aside. Remember when everyone was talking about how expensive A's tickets were going to be in Sacramento? There were all those stories about how Sutter Health Park had the costliest ticket in all of baseball, at least on average. Yeah, about that. You can find single game A's tickets on the resale marketplace with asking prices for what you would find single game River Cats tickets going for on Ticketmaster. Heck, at this moment in time, you can find single digit ticket prices for the A's on select home games. While MLB and AAA at Sutter Health Park is not a like for like comparison, it's not apples to apples entirely. This is still a bad look. Then you have the sub 9,000 announced attendances for the first 2 games of the Twins series. Even larger announced attendance numbers earlier in the season can't hide the reality of the situation. During the first few weeks of this experiment, the general complaint was A's ticket prices in Sacramento were just too high. Now, those prices are basically in line with what the River Cats are asking for, and attendance is actually getting worse. Some people blame the weather for those early season attendance issues. Well, the weather is as good as it gets until maybe September in Sacramento, so that can't be an excuse anymore. There was also the excuse of, well, school was still in session in April and May. School is not in session anymore, and we're still in the sub 9,000 attendance range. Every last excuse the loud minority of Sacramentans had to desperately try to cling to hope of landing an MLB franchise one day has been used up. All that remains now are empty seats and the harsh reality things are only going to get worse as the summer heats up. But our journey to the center of the A's suck has only begun. This is not simply about on-field performance. It's not simply about a lack of care or effort or competence from the Athletics franchise. It is about the utter contempt John Fisher has for fans in Oakland, in Sacramento, and Las Vegas. It is about the utter contempt he has for the sport of professional baseball. This is $1 billion entity that should have endless resources, yet somehow the A's get outperformed in marketing, in branding, in operations, in community outreach, in just about every single business metric imaginable by the likes of King Kong Brewing Company over on Del Paso Boulevard. I don't drink, so I can't vouch for the beer. The food's outstanding, and those who do try the beer speak very highly of it. That's not the point, though. The point is this small enterprise with an absolute fraction of the resources John Fisher has manages to run circles around this succubus organization that is only in town for TV money, free rent, and poaching suckers into buying multi-year season tickets. Don't believe me? Let's just turn to the A's promotional calendar in 2025. First, we have an August 3rd contest against the Diamondbacks that, for whatever reason, starts at 1:05 in the afternoon. That sounds absolutely terrible. So what is the team doing to entice fans to come out and potentially risk heat stroke? A backpack. There is no theme, no story behind the backpack, no idea of what this backpack could possibly be. This is your backpack. Hey, here's hoping it's that navy blue JanSport backpack high school me always wanted. Somehow, though, things get even more apathetic and ludicrous. Hat. What hat? What are we doing here? You're telling me no one in this Sad Sack organization could at least come up with some additional information to entice potential fans to come out and collect a hat. Attendance is waning. You're a few months away from having this hat day, and you still can't be bothered to fill in any sort of details that may prove enticing for potential fans. Perhaps those running the A's are simply waiting to find out what's new at the Nios.
What's new at the Nio? Let's take a peek.
This, by the way, not normal behavior for any other Major League Baseball team. The Miami Marlins, a franchise where no one can be bothered to turn up to games, have all their promos and theme nights announced and planned. They are both more frequent and more interesting than what's happening at Sutter Health Park in 2025. The Chicago White Sox, who are in a war with their fan base and trying to copy the same playbook John Fisher has used in Oakland, still have a bunch of different theme nights and giveaways for fans this season, including the kick-ass 1959 Comiskey Park model that's also an AM/FM radio. Oh, I want that so bad. Neither here nor there, though. The point is, even the other dregs of Major League Baseball are at least trying. There is some sort of effort from those running the Marlins and White Sox to at least do something, anything. The A's, they systematically destroyed baseball in Oakland, flipped the city the double bird on the way out the door, slithered their way 90 minutes up the road to Sacramento, and proceeded to piss all over our welcome mat. We essentially know at this point the A's were selling their season tickets for Sacramento like a timeshare with onerous terms and ridiculous promises that those buying extra season tickets would make their money back and then some on the resale market.
If we buy a second week and we sell that, we're vacationing for free. What happens if we buy a third week and sell that?
The A's and those stupid enough to buy A's season tickets under the guise they were going to make a profit on them later on now find themselves engaged in a full-on price war with Sutter Health Park's other tenant, the Sacramento River Cats. If you look during the Angels and Twins series and compared single game tickets during the Cats next homestand, there is a growing glut of tickets in the $15 to $30 price range for both. And a growing number of really desperate A's ticket holders are now listing their tickets for as low as $7, $8, $9, $10. If I am being honest here, I didn't think the River Cats would be an issue for the A's. I thought the Sacramento River Cats were absolute toast, that they would likely be destroyed by the A's presence in town. However, I could not have been more incorrect in that assessment. The River Cats are straight up competing with the A's. Here is the moment, here is the date, here is the number no one is talking about and they should be talking about. May 3rd, 2025, and the Reno Aces come to Sutter Health Park for a Saturday contest against the River Cats. It's an evening game, and your announced attendance is 11,611. That would be better than all A's games outside the 3 with the Yankees and the season opener. There are, of course, reasons why this game was so highly attended. It was Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander night for the River Cats. It was also a fireworks night. There was a free Hawaiian shirt giveaway. There was a heck of a lot going on to get 11,000 plus people into Sutter Health Park to see the River Cats. But let's not try to sugarcoat this any. That is more people than came to see the New York Mets or Philadelphia Phillies play in the very same ballpark. And the A's sure as hell don't want anyone to mention that there's been one true sellout at Sutter Health Park in 2025, and that happened because of the River Cats. Well, mostly the San Francisco Giants, but the River Cats were there too. The exhibition game in March between the Cats and Giants drew a capacity of 14,014. That is the sellout number. For whatever reason, the A's have tried to claim that those 12,000 plus attended games are somehow sellouts, but who really knows what the hell metric they're using? And that brings me to this point. There are two things just about everyone out there is going to be able to agree on. Number one,
telling someone to squeeze their butt cheeks together is not a joke.
And number two, you can't claim a sellout if there are still tickets left to be sold. It's not like the A's are tarping off sections or reducing the capacity any, so that can't be the excuse. If the A's want to claim their 12,000 attendance is somehow a sellout when we know the River Cats sold out with 14,000 people, then that makes this comic gold.
That's not how you do it. You gotta squeeze those cheeks, baby.
That is unintentionally funny, but not comedically so. On the other hand, no laughing matter are some of the rough nights the AAA ball club has endured at the gate this year. 150 plus baseball games in one stadium in perhaps the least fun part of Sacramento to drive in was going to impact someone. There have been a few sub 3,000 Rivercat games this season. This is not really unheard of for the team in April and May, but it is something that does bear watching as the year progresses. The difference, though, between the A's and the Rivercats is a very simple one. For one baseball franchise, this is home and they are acting like it. And for the other, they are treating it as if they are at an extended stay America. This shows in marketing, this shows in community outreach, this shows in just about every way each team conducts itself in regards to being in Sacramento. The A's have 4 firework nights planned in all of 2025. The Rivercats have firework nights like once a homestand. Here is the most interesting twist on the entire situation. Vivek Ranadive, the other person complicit in this travesty, is gouging the crap out of any local who wants to go see an A's game this year. He controls concessions and parking and the like. The Rivercats have $2 family nights and $5 beer nights. It's full price all the time for MLB. He's jacked up parking prices so they are double and in some cases more than double for A's games when compared to Rivercats prices. Ranadive went on ad nauseum about how he wanted to show Sacramento was a baseball town, how we were going to come out and support the A's, and yet every single one of his actions are designed to do the exact opposite of that. They literally are only happening so he can make a quick buck here. Even if tickets to the 2 games are basically the same price, it is still significantly cheaper for a family of 4 or a couple to go see a minor league baseball game in the River City. And with the way the A's are playing right now, there isn't much different in terms of quality. It is understandable and even expected for this to be the case, at least on the surface. However, with the A's not doing gangbusters at the gate at Sutter Health Park, it's turning into an absolute disaster, even more so than we all knew it would be. Everyone is losing. Seriously, how can 2 people be so entirely clueless while working towards what should be pretty much a singular goal? Both John Fisher and the A's and Vivek Ranadive should want Sutter Health Park to be packed every night. It should be 12, 13. It should be that 14,014 number for every single last A's home game. That would allow Fisher to prove to Vegas his brand is not toxic, while Captain Clueless Vivek Ranadive wants to highlight how passionate the city is for Major League Baseball. Yet here we are approaching midway point of Major League Baseball season, and both the A's and Sacramento just look like a joke. The only thing sadder than the events unfolding in West Sacramento now would be a stroll through Country Club Plaza on, well, any given weekday afternoon. I remember going into the That's Cheap at Country Club Plaza a few years back and being immediately overwhelmed by the sadness that just hung heavy in the air. It was a sad, depressing, terrible feeling, and sadly, it reminds me of what the A's have been allowed to become in Sacramento. The events unfolding from right across the way there in Old Sacramento, the ticket price issues, the lack of attendance, gouging season ticket holders, essentially doing the bare minimum, have significantly hindered whatever faint hopes Fisher may have held in regards to that eventual relocation and stadium in Las Vegas. Let us not forget all of those phony projections the A's paid some hospitality manager to present to the Nevada State Senate 2 years ago almost now. Those projections were based on selling out every single A's Las Vegas home game, with 30% of those in attendance coming from out of town. Anyone care to explain to me how this equation works? Fisher and the A's believe they are selling out a venue more than double the size of Sutter Health Park in a market that is less than half the size of Sacramento. And the team already isn't selling out the smaller facility in the bigger market. No one with a $500 million or $1 billion is going to want to partner with that. Meanwhile, potential season ticket holders in Las Vegas, you know, the types that are most likely going to buy 3, 4, or 5 in hopes of profiting on them when they post them on the resale market, they're going to look at the path those in Sacramento are taking right now and steer as far and wide away from that ship as they possibly can. Oh yeah, and the man who's supposedly rich enough to build this Vegas ballpark all by his lonesome can't even afford to have proper promotional nights in Sacramento. Yeah, I just don't think the pieces of this equation add up at all. As it stands today, there are basically 2 people even trying to keep up this charade. You have Mick Akers of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, whose own interest in these proceedings seems to be waning. The other fella, I'm not going to mention his name or the outlet he is working for right now, but he has just become like a fringe 9/11 conspiracy theorist on all things surrounding the A's. He is just the pits man, The absolute pits. One of the most annoying things about America are the incessant lectures you hear about being accountable, taking ownership of your actions, and the ubiquitous do your job. It's not that this is the wrong mindset to have or that it's even bad advice. The issue is that it doesn't apply to the 1%. John Fisher is not accountable for anything he has done with the Oakland Athletics since taking over the franchise. He refuses to own the decisions he has made, and he has failed in every last aspect of being a professional sports owner. And what is his comeuppance for not being accountable and not doing his job? He got an attaboy from Major League Baseball, and now other owners have promoted him to learn his secrets. I guess one day they should all be as lucky as to play in a 2/3 full minor league baseball stadium in a city they actively dismiss. You might look at the not Sacramento A's record and losing streaks or the fact that they're playing in a half-full stadium and think this is a bad situation. Just remember though, it's actually somehow even worse than you realize. Hey, fingers crossed they'll only be working on Highway 50 for like another 3 more years. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to know why Sacramento Kings owner Vivek Ranadive needs to sell that franchise, check out the video in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. And to get a better idea of why Major League Baseball doesn't need a salary cap, that would be the video in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Until next time, I am Cheyenne Hollis. This is the Touchback. Hashtag sell the team. Hashtag take it out to the 25.
What's new at the night, oh, this week.